Tavin will mow your grass and make it look so well. Now Tavin goes donut goals when in town he comes, getting strength for his haunches to cannonball for fun. Tavin, ramping up the holler, Tavin, trying to make a dollar, Tavin, give him a holler, he'll mow your grass today.
Hey y'all guys, welcome to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, Seasons 11's episode 10s, don't matter no how. I got Tavin's lawn care services, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. Welcome to a new episode of the Tavin Dillard Podcast. Thank y'all guys for listening to the podcast. I know every week you got a decision to do with your time and what you're thinking about and what you're listening to and what you're looking at and what you're doing, all that kind of way. And folks listen to my podcast. And y'all text me sometimes, 501-322-6249. If you ain't texted me, today could be today. I love hearing from y'all during the week. I try to get back at you. And you can also send me an electronic mails. That's what they call the email in Spain. tavindillard@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email if you want to. How you doing? Boy, you know, if you listen to this on the day it comes out on October the 29th, then you know we just a couple of days away from the Halloween's. A lot to talk about today. I will tell you that. There's a lot to talk about today. Well, we had another playoff game. You know, we got past what they say the first week of the playoffs in the adult softball league, but hey, there's weeks to go the way they got it scheduled. So I'll let you know. We played Bickham's all-you-can-eat catfish buffet. I'll just leave it at that for now. If you know anything about our season so far, you know how it's gone because we've seen them in the regular season. But hey, playoffs, it's, you know, anybody's game, I guess. So I got an update for you on that. And then also, there's some, you know, festivities. Now, I don't know about in your town how they do this time of year, but it seems like it's starting to crank up where people in the schoolhouses bringing snacks and cupcakes, people at the workplaces, people in the businesses in town, they got little decorations up. Some just kind of fall, some more Halloweens, some are spooky. Buddy, I don't like that spooky. Like, I don't want to go to no haunted house, no scary house, no spooky horror house or whatever it is where they got like a ghost on the speaker and they just like, ooh. Like Attaway? I mean, that's too spooky. No thanks is what I say. But I tell you, Shane and Cheryl Grubbs, you know, they own Donut Goes in town. They decided, well, we're going to do a little thing, you know, in town to celebrate the Halloweens and that kind of thing. Well, listen here, y'all. It was a bring your own pet kind of thing. Come on, Cheryl, how in the world is this going to go? You going to ask folks to bring their pet to your donut store? Well, it went. Do you celebrate the Halloweens? Some folks do. Some folks don't. Some folks have what they call harvest festivals, which is like a party around the Halloweens without the ghosts and the zombies and the spookies and that kind of thing. Well, Cheryl Grubbs, she really liked to celebrate just about any holiday, and then she tried to make a donut for that occasion. And, you know, of course, her and Shane make donuts at Donut Goes. But when I say she makes a holiday donut, it ain't like she inventing something new, like she coming up with, oh, I never heard of a donut before. No, that's done already been invented. You know that, I know that. Yeah, but, you know, they say, like, don't try to reinvent the wheel, and a donut look like a wheel. You ain't got to reinvent the donut neither. Basically, what Cheryl does around the holidays is she decorate a donut that already exists with the colors and pictures that go with that holiday or with that season. So she might have white icing and googly eyes on the glazed donut for the Halloweens, or one that's got orange icing that makes it look like a pumpkin. You get the idea. You know about decorating for things. Well, Cheryl Grubbs took it one step further this year with a Halloween's event at the Donut Goes. Her and Shane, you know, that's her husband, decided to do a giveaway and a craft night and invite your pet. That's like, you know, you could have picked one, the way I see it. Giveaway will get people to show up. A craft night will get people to show up. Bring your pets, well, that gets pets to show up too. Anyways, you know how Donut Goes is right up Main Street from the burger shed on the other side of the street. It's got a parking lot, but it shares it with the auto parts store. Well, now they're going to do this event in the evening. So if you know anything about auto parts stores, they closed at the night times. And Donut Goes is usually closed by the suppers, but they opened it for this event. There's going to be selling donuts. It's going to be a big thing. And it was a big thing. Now, I don't know if it was the big thing Shane and Cheryl Grubbs hoped it would be, and I have to guess it wasn't exactly how they thought it was going to be, and turned out how they hoped it'd be. But, you know, that's life. You make your plans, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, that's how that went. And you're probably wondering how that went, and I can't wait to tell y'all guys how this went, because it didn't just go. I mean, it go-goed. It went. It was something else. So, here's the deal. They're going to have room outside, which is good because the auto parts store is closed. And there ain't a lot of seating inside Donut Goes. You probably know that. There's just a few little booths there kind of thing. Couple regular booths, and then them smaller booths, the ones I usually sit in is the smaller ones. What are they giving away though exactly, Tabin? You said there's a giveaway at the Donut Goes. What in the world are they giving away? Well, if you dress up for Halloween's, you get a free donut. If you dress up like a donut, you get 2 free donuts. But if you don't want to dress up and you bring a can of corn, they'll still give you a donut. I don't know, y'all. I guess it's like a canned corn drive. I ain't never heard of it neither. I'm just saying them's the rules they set up for the event that they throwed. And they can do that. Now, the chocolate milk, cider, hot chocolate, along with any extra donuts, that's going to cost you. And that right there is a pretty smart business plan, if you ask me. It's a win for everybody. Only thing is, you can't show up dressed like a cowboy, a Pokemans, or whatever, and then go home and change into your regular clothes and bring a can of corn and get another free donut. That ain't how it works. So you got to know the rules, you got to understand the rules, and you got to play by them rules if you want to get that donut. But you ain't going to get more than that donut. You can't try to, you know, they giving something away. They doing something nice for the community. You want more donuts? Basically buy it, you know. Support the business. That's kind of what they going for there. I mean, at the end of the day, just buy another donut. That's what I say. Shane and Cheryl, they the only employees at the shop. They can usually handle the business. Their kids help some too, you know, Perry Lee and Maisley. Well, y'all probably know I hopped behind the counter before too to help in a pinch. Now, you know I said that part of this event is bringing your pet, so I can't ignore that part. Truth be told, it's hard to ignore, and you'll know why in a second. But you don't get a free donut just for bringing a pet. That ain't part of it, okay? So you got to know what gets you a free donut and what don't. I guess Cheryl's hoping that folks that usually don't go to Donut Goes will want to go now because they having a pet event. I mean, it's kind of a pet event. Everybody knows pets have been there before. There's been a standoff between Possum Keith and Jalapeno before. You know, Possum Keith, that's Millie Rick's pet. Possum, and then Jalapeno is the Grubbs doggy. The thing about this event is that the craft is in the parking lot for your pet. So there ain't no invite for the pets to get inside Donut Goes. They ain't got no business in there. There's going to be a craft for the pet in the parking lot. Adult humans and little kid humans can go inside the store for their donuts kind of thing. You see it now? You getting a picture of this Halloween Fall Festival event that Donut Goes is throwing? Well, just buckle up, y'all guys. If you've been cruising with the seatbelt off so far, it's time to buckle up because we just getting started. Shane and Cheryl got a whole bunch of donut-shaped squeeze toys donated by Jerry Don and Sybil Farnhart. That's Rance Farnhart's parents. They run the flea market in town. And there's all this fabric paint or some kind of craft paint that sticks to these squeeze toy donuts. So you can kind of make it the donut you want. And you can color it like a regular chocolate glaze, or you can paint a pumpkin on it, that kind of thing. And them donuts will squeak when you squeeze them. And you know about animals, especially them doggies, they like them squeezy toys and squeaky toys. I don't know why. I did not go to school for dogs. So the event started, and folks mostly started inside the donut store, which makes sense. That's where them donuts are. Then they'd make it outside, and they'd choose a squeeze toy, and they'd start painting it. Now, it wouldn't be an event hosted by Cheryl Grubbs if the junior cheer team didn't perform. You know, she coached them. So they're in the parking lot with a CD player, some black and orange windbreaker suits, and a fog machine. And Maisley, that's Shane and Cheryl's little girl, she's a junior cheerleader herself. Well, Millie Ricks pulls up with her Buick and Possum Keith. So she got that baby possum too that Shane Grubbs delivered to her not too long ago, but she don't take that one everywhere. I did hear word on the street though, she's calling that one Baby Kevin. So, I mean, if my math's right, she got a Baby Kevin and a Possum Keith, but she just bringing Possum Keith to this donut event, and he's still the favorite, you know, kind of like Rachel Christine is the favorite baby doll of Meemaw. So, you know, we all got our things. Millie's got Possum Keith in a little brown robe, kind of like a Jedi Knight or whatever. He hated it. Possum Keith was steady shaking his paws when he was walking, trying to keep them sleeves from touching him, and he's shaking his little possum head because she pulled that Jedi hood on his head, and he hates that too. Boy, that's a mad possum. They don't care nothing about Halloween or dressing up. So they go into the store, and I say they because that's Millie Ricks and Possum Keith dressed like a little Jedi, and I'm telling you right now, you don't need no animal in the store. The parking lot was for animals, and it really wasn't for farm animals and wild animals like possums. It's for like doggies, you know, and that kind of thing, but who cares? She said it's a pet event, and Millie Ricks is basically admitting what she deny every day of the week, which is that Possum Keith's her pet. Oh, he ain't my pet. I mean, you named him, you feed him, you dress him like a Jedi. I think that's your pet, you know. So they go into the store, like I said, and Cheryl is helping Millie with a standard glaze, because that's the only free donut. If I didn't say that already, that's the only free donut you can get unless you wanted a Halloween's one. You could get a free Halloween's one, too. You know, they decorate with googly eyes or whatever, like a pumpkin, that kind of thing. Possum Keith, while they doing that, Cheryl and Millie are making this exchange. He makes his way around the counter. Cheryl didn't notice until Possum Keith has his paws into an old-fashioned glaze and a honey bun. Them honey buns is bigger and more expensive than a regular donut. And you know the rule. You touch it, you buy it. So Cheryl's trying to shoo Possum Keith away. Millie's trying to make it that free glaze. And she's reaching out to take it, you know, from Cheryl's hand. When Cheryl says, you're going to have to pay for them other two, you know, that honey bun and that old-fashioned glaze that Possum Keith got into. Well, Millie's upset. And she really, I don't know if she should have got that free glaze, honestly. It's like at that point, it's just say pay for the glaze too. I mean, your pet possum, little Jedi, tore up two other ones that cost money kind of thing. But anyhow, the rules wasn't a free donut for your pet to be dressed up neither. Like, you don't get it just for dressing up your pet. That wasn't one of the rules, you know, if you remember all the rules I already said. But you got to be dressed up. So like Millie Ricks, her possum's dressed up, but what in the world is Millie Ricks? You know, the human. Not the pet, but the human that brought the pet got to be dressed up. Well, Millie had on a flannel shirt and said she was Daisy Duke. I guess you can't argue with that, and I'm glad she didn't add anything else to the outfit, truth be told, so I guess she is getting a free donut. Meanwhile, in the parking lot, Maisley Grubbs is having to figure out a CD player and a fog machine because her mama is busy selling them donuts inside, and they supposed to start their little, you know, their little routine or whatever, them junior cheer routine, like get the fog machine going, get that CD player going, and you do the little dance and you kick and your cheer and your flips or whatever, you know, cartwheel kind of thing, to the music. Well, she's trying to figure out, it's really... They really just didn't think this part of the program out. There ain't no way Shane and Cheryl are going to be able to leave donut goals inside from helping customers anytime soon to get out in that parking lot and help with any of that other stuff. You know, the craft for the doggies, the junior cheer team thing getting started. You know, they were kind of understaffed, I guess you'd say. Shailene Riggs, she got a little gal on the junior cheer team too, so she's trying to help. A couple of dogs are getting in a fight while kids are trying to paint donut squeeze toys. One falls on the ground, not a kid, but one of them squeeze toys covered in paint, and the kiddo starts to cry because they dropped the Toy Days paint. And you know how it is when a kid's working on something and they lose it, and they just sad, and motion just take over. You so emotional as a little kid, instead of like picking it up and saying, well, we'll get this figured out. I mean, you ain't got a category for that. You just like, boy, everything just falls apart. Well, the world just crumbled around me because I dropped the thing I'm working on. So anyhow, this kid's crying. Well, a dog in nearby hears that squeeze toy, attacks that thing. It's a little squeeze toy donut. It's covered in wet paint. So it's going after a horde, and that doggy tore that toy up. I mean, that doggy tore that toy up. The kiddo had been painting that donut blue. So now there's teeth holes in this toy and blue paint all over this doggy's face. The kid who dropped the donut's dressed like a shark. So basically, we got a shark in tears looking down at a blue-faced dog tearing up a donut squeeze toy. That's what's going on in the parking lot, while Millie Ricks is trying to fight for a free glazed donut, and Cheryl Grubbs is trying to shoo Possum Keith away from the donut display case. So like I said, I mean, you got plans, but sometimes they don't always work out. So we back in the parking lot, and by this time Millie's outside. And now she mad because Possum Keith has now made this discount donut night no discount at all because she had to pay for that honey bun and that old-fashioned glaze. She don't see the fog machine cord, and Millie tripped right over it. Millie, 80, 90 years old. She don't hear too well, see too well, and she didn't see that cord. There's a wagon full of orange balloons, thankfully, that broke Millie's fall. The fog machine didn't get unplugged, but now it's on its side, and it's shooting fog toward them kiddos and dogs at the craft tables. So them kids that are trying to paint donut squeeze toys for them doggies, and them doggies are huddled around them tables, now they just covered in fog. Where'd they go? Disappeared like a magic trick. I guess the junior cheerleaders was supposed to use them orange balloons for like a dance routine or something, but they scared Possum Keith, and he's using them, his little possum claws. You know how possums have little possum claws? He's using them to pop the balloons, and his sharp possum teeth to bite them balloons. He mad at them thing, but he's fired up. The line at Donut Goals is out the door now. Russell Tucker's there with his boys, Ronnie, Keith, and Jesse. They're both dressed like ninjas, and Russell hustles over, and he hoists Millie out of that wagon full of balloons. Her free glazed donuts on the ground, and that doggy with the blue face ate that thing in one bite, buddy. I'm telling you, just gobble that thing up. So if you happen to pull up on this fiasco, which I did on my ATV, I see about 3 6-foot tables in the parking lot of Donut Goes. Most folks have parked their cars in the auto park lot, and they walked over next door. At those tables are kids in the fog because the machine is aimed out at them, painting themselves, the table, and some of that paint's getting on them donut squeeze toys, and them toys keep getting dropped. So there's paint in the parking lot and paint on the animals because every time a squeeze toy hits the ground, it's getting attacked by the nearest four-legged creature. So that's what's going on. Millie's ticked off. I mean, Possum Keith is too, but he seems to be feeling better after popping most of them balloons. Maybe therapeutic for him, I don't know. Maisley's crying. The junior cheerleaders can't see the crowd because the crowd's covered in fog. Insult to injury, Cricket showed up, and she bought most of the Halloween donuts for a nursing home party, and Cheryl ran out of glaze. So all the free donuts is gone, but folks are still showing up with cans of corn or costumes on, and Cheryl had to change the rules and hand out some of them other donuts she didn't expect or anticipate handing out. They're supposed to get paid for. Shane's in the back getting more donuts made, but it's going to be a while. I mean, if you know anything about the world of donuts, which I only know a little bit about. Well, eventually, the party ended. I don't even know if you call it a party, but eventually the Donut Goes Halloween event and giveaway ended. They had to power wash that parking lot. So happy Halloweens to y'all and your pets, or happy harvest time. But we got to move on to the real deal at hand. How about that Team Burger Shed? It was happy semifinals of the playoffs for us. Well, it was happy at the beginning because we didn't know, how it's going to turn out. Now, if you lose, you're probably sad. If you win, you're happy. But we heading into it, and the last game we won last week, we won, so we feeling fine. But I ain't going to lie. This game was on our mind all week. We was playing Bickham's all-you-can-eat Catfish buffet, and they have beat us not once, but twice this year. And the playoffs is single elimination. You know about that? Single elimination. That means if you lose once, you are out of the playoffs, buddy. So that's tough. And it just kind of leaves a lump in your throat when you know how good they are, and it just feels like they got all the momentum. But you know what they say about adult softball? Well, I ain't sure either, but basically any given day you got a chance. You just never know. So you got to get out there on the field and play the game. Hey, you can't win if you don't play. You know that? So we thought we had Bickham's in that last game we played them, but it got away from us. I mean, it really got away. But it's a new week. It's a new day at the fields. And if we don't win, our season's over. No big deal. It's a big deal. So, Cindy Mydell, she showed up at the fields. If you don't know anything about her, she got a reputation for not being honest. Now, I know what you're saying. Tavin folks can change. Well, I know folks can change. I know that. But she ain't trying to change. She's snaky, and she got busted years ago at the Walmarts with a CNI dog that was not blind. She wasn't blind, Cindy wasn't, but that CNI dog was missing an eye. So I guess he was kindly blind. He was a retired firehouse dog that got in a fight with a squirrel, and I guess you could say it lost because it lost an eye. And so that thing ain't a firehouse dog no more. Cindy got that thing and put a little pack over it, like a little saddlebags on this dog, and then she put on them cataract glasses or whatever. It looked like you had surgery on your eye, and she's acting blind, and she's leading that thing with a leash, you know, into the Walmarts during the rollback sale, and I was undercover. I was volunteer police, so you ain't gotta wear a uniform. In fact, they don't give you a uniform. All they do give you a little patch. You can sew it on one of your shirts, but I wanted to go full on undercover. You know, I'm reading like a greeting card, but I'm really peekabooning over the card to see what's going on. Well, Cindy Mydell going out Walmart rollback sale with that dog with the little saddlebags on it on each side. And I see her walk up and down the aisle, 2-liter bottle of diet something. I think it was Diet Right or something. Little diet soda in there. Boop, like that away. Men's work boots, dropped them right in the saddlebag. Pleated men's khaki pants. I don't know who she's shopping for. Justin Bieber poster. Bloop, right down in there. Can of Raid. I mean, she loaded that thing up. And boy, she's going to try to make, but what they tell you in your undercover, you know, volunteer police training, they say, you can't bust them in the store. If they in the store, they still liable to pay for it. But nothing told me it looked like she was about to pay for this. Kenny Loggins CD, that's in there too. I know. So she going around, you know, looking like, oh, I'm blind and I'm just walking around. But boy, when she got her chance, she grabbed something off a shelf, she drop it in that saddlebag. And all I had was pepper spray. That's all they give the volunteer police. You know, you ain't got a gun or a rifle or a bazooka or nothing like that. You got just like a can of pepper spray. And I was just waiting. I was steady waiting. You know how your palms are sweaty, like, but it's go time. You know, this is what you train for. Boy, you're trying to protect the community, keep the prices low, and you got to stop the theft and that kind of thing. Well, she made it past the cash register, ain't paid for nothing. I said, boy, she goes out them doors, then she all mine. But Cindy Mydell ain't leaving this parking lot with that one-eyed dog pretending to be blind with saddlebags. Packed that dog like it was a pack mule going over the Himalayas, and she ain't getting out with that. So she got into that little lobby area, you know, with the gumball machines and all that, and I said, it's go time. Because once them doors go, you know, them electronic doors, like you ain't got to push it, you walk and they open for you, like, hey, welcome to the outside world. I don't know how it works. I didn't go to school for them magic doors, but I'm just saying you get close enough and they open, well, them things open and I'm on her. And I'm like, Cindy, you got to stop. And she said, no, I don't. She tried, buddy, I used that pepper spray. But I'm thinking, well, Cindy ain't got nothing on her. All this stuff is on that doggy. So I pepper sprayed a one-eyed dog in his good eye. Felt bad about it, but he stopped. And then all of a sudden, they took my pepper spray away. They said I boozed it. And I don't, I mean, the dog turned out fine because I don't know, it's got good eyes or something. It's strength. You know, it was fine. Except all I'm saying is that Cindy Mydell can't be trusted. I mean, I guess that's all I'm saying. I retell the story, I get a little flustered, I get a little mad, but then also I'm a little happy because when my head hit the pillow that night, I slept like a baby because I upheld the law. I upheld my solemn oath as a volunteer policeman. And I did that dog a favor. Cindy couldn't take care of that dog. They said she put that dog at risk. And so it got a new home. She got another dog now, though. Anyhow, that's the Cindy Mydell, if you don't know her. She even taken off with a game ball one time at the fields when it got hit over the fence. She's supposed to return them to the concession stand for a free snow cone. Cindy didn't do that. I don't know what she's going to do with that softball because, you know, if she can get something free, she'd do. But instead of getting a free snow cone, she just kept a free softball. Wasn't hers to keep. Well, she walking around the fields. Not that there's, she ain't there to watch softball at our game, at our playoff game. Nobody thinks she's there to watch softball. She's just being suspicious. Nobody know what she up to, but they know she up to something. So Mary Beth Tucker seen her prowling around the concession stand, and Mary Beth couldn't get a straight answer out of Cindy. So she kept an eye on her. She's like, Cindy, what in the world are you doing here? She goes, oh, well, I just, you know, I got a call from my brother. Well, what in the world does that mean? Well, Cindy, what are you doing here, though? Well, it's just the weather's been changing, so I ain't sure. Cindy, that don't make no sense. What are you doing here? Like, Mary Beth just couldn't get an answer out of her. And Mary Beth needed to be locked in because this is playoff concession stand time. It ain't regular season. You got to know what you're doing. I was proud of Mary Beth. Not that I have to be, But she did have only the essentials tonight. No helium balloons, no hot butter dinner rolls softer than a baby angel's leg, no chili dogs, no cupcake decorating, and thankfully, no s'mores. She just had the standard of hot dogs, snow cones, soda pop, Skittles. Just the standards. So what could go wrong? Well, I couldn't think about that because I had a game to play. Russell Tucker, he really thought through our lineup. He even had Rance Farnhart pick up Brody Childress so Brody wouldn't be late to the game. Cody Briggs got there early. He was jogging laps. Everybody else was there in plenty of time. Mort Dwidell, Myron Curtis, JT Whitlow, Cody Mantell, me, and of course, Rusty Tidwell. Best tailgate art in the county and all-around athlete. So Russell wanted to play matchups. What he did, he had Cody Briggs start as our pitcher, and we had probably, I'd say, our slowest outfield to start the game. I was out there, so that helped because, I'm quick and wiry. But then there's Russell Tucker, Myron Curtis out there. Russell likes how Cody pitches, and he figured if we could have just like a couple scoreless innings against Bickham's, because they got big boys that can just rake, then we could get more defensive later in the game. Get a fast outfield out there with me and a couple other of the fast guys, and then, just play all defensive, So I'd give him that. Russell had a strategy. Don't matter no how. It's game time, and Russell's plan works. Mort Dwidell, for being out of shape, not being willing to, he ain't really willing to run at all. He got a real slow heartbeat. What that means is like you just calm under pressure. You know about that? That means he don't get worked up in a playoff game against Bickham's all-you-can-eat catfish buffet. That's what it means. He just slow and steady. And he hits a 3-run shot in the second inning. I was on third when it happened, courtesy of an infield single, stowed base, and Rance Farnhart hit an infield single. Not sure why we couldn't get it out of the infield, but Mort's homer sure found a way. Anyhow, I'm waiting for Mort to make it to home plate when I notice a commotion on the other side of the outfield wall where the home run ball landed. Chet Dilroy was out there because he's moving around the hay bales, because he teaches them junior archers. They got practice out there during the week. They don't practice out during our games no more. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous for the kiddos, too dangerous for us with them arrows flying too. So I guess that homer dropped back there anywhere somewhere, and he went to pick it up when Cindy Mydell snuck out from behind a hay bale and tried to steal it. There's a little bit of a tussle, and Chet told her to knock it off, and she's screaming that she wants a free snow cone. That's what you get when you return a softball, but Chet didn't believe her. He didn't know what she was going to do because she got a reputation. That's the thing about it. So just to be sure, he returned it, and he gave his free snow cone to Cindy. See how that worked? Good on you, Chet. And she was mad, so that tell you something too. It wasn't about the free snow cone. Cindy got a free snow cone. She was mad. She kept lingering around the fields during the game. All she did was take one bite out of that snow cone, and then she tossed it in the trash. So you ain't got to be no Sherlock Holmes to know something else is going on. Mary Beth was watching from the concession stand too, because it seemed like she's up to something. Mary Beth could sense it too. Mary Beth got horse sense. I don't know what that means, but I know she worked at the veterinary, and she could figure out that something was up with Cindy, so I just put that together like that away. Anyhow, Mort finally made it to home plate on that home run he hit. Like I said, we was up 3-0 now. Then Russell pitched, and Cody went to the outfield. That's Cody Briggs. He's fast. So we had a pretty solid defense. Russell put Myron at shortstop and pulled Brody Childress from short to play outfield. Brody's fast too. I was chasing down a double in the 5th inning, and I threw it back to the infield when I noticed somebody in our dugout. Well, our team's on the field, y'all guys. Ain't nobody in the dugout. Then I see who it is. It's Cindy Mydell, and she's pilfering through duffel bags. Fellas got snacks, they got wallets in there, and Cindy's in the middle of it all. So I holler at her. Cody Mantell, he sees her. He's playing catcher at the time. He stops her at the dugout, and the ump calls timeout. So Cody confronts her. She's all defensive, even though she's standing in our dugout going through our duffel bags. Cody tells her to empty her pockets. She had a bag full of sunflower seeds, a granola bar in them pockets, a gift card to the Sonic, and a fruit roll-up. What in the world, Cindy? I'm hungry, she says. Well, then come on. I'll buy you a hot dog, and Lindy Ray will take you home. That's what Cody told her. So we got a game interruption while Cody buys Sticky Finger Cindy a hot dog and a Coke at the concession stand, and Lindy Ray, his wife, takes her home. They found money in her sweatpants too. That got returned to our players. So we let her keep the snack except for the fruit roll-up. Rusty said he needed that for the last inning. Turns out he did. We was the visiting team, so we don't bat last. I mean, that's how it works. Rusty, he hit a 2-run dinger in the last inning, and Bickham's had to bat because they was losing. And you ain't got to bat in the bottom of the last inning if you the home team and you winning. So Russell stayed in to pitch in the last inning, and we was up 7-3. That means we scored 7 runs already, and Bickham's All You Can Eat Catfish Buffet, they scored 3 already. He gave up a homer. Russell gave up a homer, and nothing else. You know what that means? We won 7-4, and we are headed to the final round of the playoffs next week. Then if we put a win together, we are on to the championship game. One game at a time, though. I appreciate y'all joining me here on my podcast this week. Boy, a lot to look back at and be excited about. A lot to look forward to and be excited about. I hope y'all have a happy Halloween's or a happy Harvest Festival this week. Or if it's your birthday, I hope you have a happy birthday. Check them show notes for all that's going on, y'all guys. I appreciate y'all joining me today. Time to stretch them haunches. There's more softball to play. And hey, if you ain't a honey bun that's been clawed out of the display case at Donut Goes by Possum Keith dressed like a Jedi this week, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tavin Dillard. This is a Tavin Dillard podcast. Till next time, y'all guys. We'll see you later.